In this segment, Stephanie Miller is joined by Noel Casler. Noel, who's worked with Trump in the past, shares his thoughts on the Donald state of mind.
Kristen, we are hearing from the former president just in the last couple of minutes since we've been speaking here. What's he saying?
Willie, you're right. He's been posting on his Truth Social account. Here's his latest post. It came in just moments ago. Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday. It was God alone, he said, who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. Our love goes out to the other victims and their families. We pray for the recovery of those who were wounded and hold in our hearts the memory of the citizen who was so horribly killed.
There's only one Trump, right? Sometimes he gets away with not being the worst version of himself, right? And the media sort of gives him a pass, but he's always the same person. He's a broken, wounded ego, guy with the emotional maturity of a child, who's been stewing in his own resentment and anger for almost 80 years. And he feeds that stimulants, into an addled mind that doesn't work right. One of Trump's core issues is he knows people think he's dumb, and he doesn't want that. He's trying to hide these deficiencies instead of confronting them, instead of dealing with it.
And you also said one guy spent 50 years in Washington crafting legislation that benefits all Americans, harkens back to the New Deal era policies that built our middle class. One guy spent 50 years getting high, bankrupting businesses, and creeping on teenage girls that look like his daughter. I mean, it's like I was saying, it does feel like, I can't believe President Biden even has to participate in this, but it's just, here we go again, right?
Yeah, and that's who he's been his whole life. He spent the Vietnam War riding around in his dad's limo, attacking cocktail waitresses and doing lines, letting other guys go fight in his way in a foreign war. He wasn't involved, physically or intellectually with the biggest thing of his youth, right? The Vietnam War was sort of a litmus test, right? For men of his generation. He didn't care. He's living it up, pretending that he's this big real estate scion, or he was and became one on his own, right? This tycoon in the 80s. He knows nothing of policy. That's why his whole shtick is like, I'm an outsider. Would you want an outsider doing heart surgery? DC specific skill.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You know this. Your family's been in it. I know I come from a DC kind of bureaucratic family in many ways. I worked on Capitol Hill. It's policy wonks. It's boring stuff. That's what you want. It's unsexy work that gets business done on behalf of a large nation.
You want the West Wing. You want those nerds.
Right.
Yeah, Jim tweeted Trump's debate prep, rails of Adderall, complaining about the moderators, crying about CNN, calling it rigged before, during, and after. Rick Stengel, but let's talk about moderators. He said for the debate, the moderators can't fact check everything. That's what Trump counts on, that he lies so much you can't possibly. But big false premises like the assertion that crime is rising or the economy is falling need to be corrected in real time. Well, of course they scream bloody murder because Trump's the only one that lies nonstop. So, if the moderators correct that, they'll be like, fake news, right?
Exactly. Because you're right. That's going to be every point. It's an excellent point you just made. He's going to say immigration crisis, migrant crime, election was stolen in 2020, fake news. And he's just going to repeat those things on a loop. And when they try to correct him, he's just going to say, you're lying. You're part of the fake news establishment, because that's what his people want.
Yeah. Ann tweeted, listen, I'm not a drug user, so maybe I just don't get it, but how can someone be called Sleepy Joe while also being on cocaine? I feel like that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, and even on Fox News sometimes, I love this one. Fox News' Bill somebody, reporter, concedes the border crossings have dropped significantly since Biden's executive order, which is basically all he can do since Trump blocked the bipartisan immigration bill, right? So that's going to come up with some ghoulish story that he seems to take sexual pleasure in telling, right, about violence by an undocumented immigrant, right?
Now you're getting into it. It shows his kink. He's into this. Violence against women is a thing for him. He likes that. That crazy Britney girl who did the State of the Union rebuttal. Remember her?
Oh, yeah.
And So that was an audition, right, to be a potential VP,
Oh.
candidate for Trump. So
Katie
whoever
Britt.
coached
Katie
her
Britt.
on-
Sorry, Senator Katie Britt. I was trying. Oh yes,
Katie
yes, she
Britt.
was
I'm
creepy.
sorry, I was disrespectful.
Yeah.
Katie Britt. But remember how she got into the specifics of this?
Oh yeah, she's like,
victim
hi,
and all that?
I'm in my kitchen, but don't look in my crawl space. There's nothing in there.
Right, exactly. That was to please the boss because he likes that stuff.
Oh.
He likes the graphic details that turn most people's stomachs because
Yeah.
he's not a well man.